Hey, good morning. Patricia Murphy here. It's Saturday. This is Seattle Now. Today we're bringing you the best from the KUOW Newsroom. First, ahead of the World Cup, Seattle Mayor Katie Wilson's administration has prioritized opening new shelter beds to get homeless people off the streets. But Scott Greenstone found that sweeps of encampments are continuing, possibly even increasing.
Fluffy cottonwood seeds float through the Trolls Knoll Forest, a park in Fremont above the famous troll. City workers take down a tarp-covered pavilion tent. They toss bags and a filing cabinet down the stairs. Some energy drinks fall out, fizzing. Michelle Castillo grabs one, a Monster Energy. She's lived here the last couple months with her partner.
I don't know, I'm just angry, not at the city, at myself and my partner.
She opens the Monster, still good. Stapled on a tree nearby, there's a piece of paper announcing the sweep. She found it last night. Down the stairs, a garbage truck crushes everything she's not taking with her as the Fremont Troll watches silently. Bruce Drager is a volunteer who tries to help homeless campers get into shelter. He says he's been seeing more sweeps like this ahead of the World Cup.
And I guarantee you this is exactly what happened here, is that somebody said, wait a second, we got this tourist attraction out here that they have people camping next to.
Over 2,000 tents were cleared in the first 5 months of Seattle Mayor Katie Wilson's administration, according to numbers from the city. That's more than her predecessor did in the first 5 months of last year, 2024, or 2023. But Wilson said she's not doing more sweeps because of the World Cup.
I think there is an impression that we are doing stepped up encampment removals or sweeps to prepare for FIFA, and we are not. One of the big reasons I ran is that we have to stop just moving people from place to place, and we need to create more places inside for people to go. And so it never feels good when I know that encampment removals are happening and we're not able to offer shelter and services in a meaningful way.
Wilson pointed out people are moving into a tiny house village this week in Interbay that she found money in the budget to fund. I stepped into one of those 75 tiny houses with Dan Wise, a nonprofit veteran helping run the village. It took 5 months from site selection to opening day. Unheard of speed.
I have opened a number of programs over the decades. I have been a social worker in this community, and this is by far the fastest. And a lot of that really is Mayor Wilson's call for urgency, and then the city offices, city departments responding to that call.
But Wilson's goal was opening 500 shelter beds by the World Cup. She hasn't, not even close.
That ambition and putting a big goal out there, I think, was effective in getting a lot of wheels turning fast. And then there is the downside, at least, I guess, politically, right, of having people be like, well, you said this and you failed, right?
The high goal also got support from the business community and philanthropy, who've spent millions to open more forthcoming tiny house villages and focus on housing a small group of people spending nights on the streets of Pioneer Square. But some of Wilson's supporters are frustrated. Jeff Paul is part of an advocacy coalition against homeless sweeps.
I really heard Katie talking about a different approach on the campaign trail. There are differences in what is happening, but one thing that has not changed is the sweep machine. We were heartened when very early on in office, she paused one sweep in Ballard, but then just a few weeks later, she announced that the sweep would be going forward and that the work of the sweep team, the Unified Care Team, would continue unabated, and continue it has.
Back at the Trolls Knoll, the sweep is almost over, and Castillo's talking to a city outreach worker.
Again, do you want me to take you anywhere?
No, thank you.
Maybe McDonald's, she jokes.
That might not be in my city vehicle. Okay?
There's no shelter beds open today, he says, but writes down a number she can call tomorrow. Scott Greenstone, KUOW News.
Next, it cost a lot of money to host the World Cup. Here in Washington, local government agencies are spending more than $100 million. Anna Boyko-Wyrock counted the money and explores whether it's worth it.
Let's talk about the cost to host the World Cup. It's not just the city of Seattle footing the bill. In fact, taxpayer money is going to the World Cup from the state and a lot of local cities and transit agencies. I pawed through dozens of government documents and found at least $110 million in public spending. Across the state, one of the largest costs is transportation.
So I'm here to tell you, my friends, we are ready.
That's Sound Transit CEO Dow Constantine speaking at a news conference in May. Sound Transit is spending more than $20 million. One chunk of money is to fix infrastructure like elevators and escalators. But most of it is just to keep people moving, with crowd management, signage, and more frequent trains on match days.
And now it is time to welcome the world aboard. Thank you so much.
Public agencies are expecting a lot of crowds and a lot of global attention. Across departments, they're staffing up and deploying people and equipment to key areas, just in case. In general, a lot of the spending is more like damage control than a long-lasting investment.
This is all a choice to spend this much money on a one-time event.
Leah Salerno is an organizer with the Protect Our Pitch 206 Community Coalition, which is highlighting the impacts of the World Cup.
This money could be spent in a lot better ways that are sustainable and focus on the people that live here and building up our local communities.
Improving things for the long term, like public safety and education. After all, Washington State and the city of Seattle have budget holes. But public officials are banking on getting a positive return on investment.
The world is coming to Seattle, and that is an amazing opportunity for us as a state and as a city.
That's Governor Bob Ferguson speaking to reporters. He's expecting nearly $850 million in economic impact. That number comes from a study commissioned by the Seattle Tourism Bureau. I ran the numbers by an outside expert.
Guten Tag!
Very outside.
Hello.
Professor Wolfgang Menig is a sports economist at the University of Hamburg and an expert on the economics of mega sporting events. He says host cities usually hear a lot about the mega bucks that are supposed to roll in. But afterward, when academics examine the data, those big numbers basically vanish.
If academic studies find some effects, they are very, very, very small and very, very short term, but in general, neglectable.
Menig says there is no evidence that mega sporting events have a statistically significant effect on the local economy.
And how can that be? I guess common sense like people...
He explained that, first, soccer tourists are just displacing regular summer tourists.
You will see some internationals, some German, French, Italian fans coming to the soccer games. But what we also see in almost all instances, there's a crowding out of normal tourism.
Meanwhile, locals might skip town. Not everyone loses, though, like food vendors.
Of course, the people who sell brezeln,
pretzels,
and Würstel,
hot dogs,
and beer on these places, they might make a money.
But that's just money that would have gone to a different local business anyway. Now, even if the economics are a wash, Menig says something else could make hosting the World Cup worth it. It's called the feel-good effect. Some host cities get a short-term but significant boost in happiness. As for Seattle, it's just like the Germans say.
Ja, jede Party ist so gut, wie man sie macht.
Every party is as good as you make it. Anna Boyko-Wyrock, KUOW News.
And finally, the local Pride event known as Gays Eating Garlic Bread in the Park drew hundreds of people together this month in Seattle. What started as a humble picnic 2 years ago has grown into a viral gathering. Casey Martin reports organizers are having trouble keeping up with the popularity.
Kyrie Froelich needed a friend. The 26-year-old bartender had moved here from Arizona a few years back. She wanted to meet new people in Seattle, which isn't always easy to do. Her therapist suggested that she host a get-together, throw an event. So Froelich put posters all over town with a simple invitation: gays eating garlic bread in the park.
And I thought, it would be great if 30 people came. That would be amazing if I got to meet 30 people in my neighborhood who are part of the queer community.
It turns out a lot of other people also felt like Froelich did. The event went viral online. Hundreds of people RSVP'd that year, and again the next year. Other cities hosted their own gay garlic bread get-togethers.
Even outside the country, I think Norway last year they held it.
Now, in its third year, Froelich said about 800 people showed up to Saturday's event.
The turnout has been so well because people were also in similar circumstances where they wanted to connect with other people in the queer community.
People brought their picnic baskets and blankets to Woodland Park, buttery loaves of tinfoil-wrapped garlic bread in tow. The sun shining through the trees.
The grass is grassin' and the garlic be garlicin'.
Eric Kigaru made his bread from scratch.
Fresh chopped parsley and shredded Romano and Asiago cheese. Pretty good stuff.
Of course, I had to try some.
That's amazing. Like the Asiago in there?
Mm-hmm.
Kigaru was there with his two friends on a picnic blanket, surrounded by a whole bunch of other people doing the same thing. Some brought board games and Dungeons and Dragons. There was one furry and at least 2 cats on leashes.
The reason I came out was just queer. Queer, I want to be here with other queers, right? It's just nice to be in community, you know, and just see other people just kind of enjoying themselves and just hanging out, right?
Stacy Crouch was there with a loaf of sourdough. She heard about this from a friend last year, but they were too late.
And you sent me a message, we're like, we missed the gay garlic bread.
But they did not miss out on it this year. Crouch said she felt safe being surrounded by other gay people. And all the garlic.
If you're worried about vampires, this is like the safest event for you to be at. So, yeah, garlic, sunshine.
A few blankets away, Leo Latham was stringing together friendship bracelets. This was their reaction when they heard about the event.
Gays eating garlic bread? Oh, totally.
Latham is new to Seattle, just moved here from North Carolina. He said it's casual, quirky things like this that make him feel at home in a new city.
These are people that are going through the same struggles that we are, and they're all here together enjoying their lives like we are, and it's really nice to see that.
Most people brought one loaf of garlic bread, but Chelsea Betancourt had other plans.
I brought 4 loaves. Yeah, we're gay, so, we can pack it away. We have cheese on some of them. Which ones, I don't know, so I'm sorry anybody who is lactose intolerant.
Julie Slick went next level.
I'm working with an uni pizza oven with a little propane tank.
Flames reflecting in her hot pink sunglasses, Slick had her own special recipe in the pizza oven.
Made a brown butter garlic that I spread on there and threw it in the pizza oven so it's nice and warm and toasty, so we have hot garlic bread.
She said she'll be back with the oven next year, if there is an event. Organizer Kyrie Froelich said her idea to make new friends has grown so big with so many people showing up that she may not be able to afford to keep hosting this. She'll need sponsors, she said, to make next year's event happen.
I really want to make sure that we're finding community because being able to share resources, our own grievances with each other even, it's really important right now.
Froelich said she wants to hold on to this group of friends that she's made. Not necessarily the food. She doesn't even really like garlic bread, she said. At Woodland Park, I'm Casey Martin, KUOW News.
Appreciate you listening to Seattle Now, and thanks to our generous donors for your financial support. If you have a minute this weekend, why not rate and review the show? Our production team includes Caroline Chamberlain-Gomez, Vaughn Jones, Andy Hurst, Brooklyn Jamerson Flowers, and Paige Browning. Greg Kramer does our theme music. Seattle Now and KUOW Public Radio are members of the NPR network. I'm Patricia Murphy. See you soon.